is an African American writer best known for her fiction and essays that deal with themes of race and gender. Her novel, The Color Purple, in 1982, won the National Book Award and the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Walker was the first African American woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction and was introduced into the California Hall of Fame in the California Museum for History, Women in the Arts in 2007. So her books have translated into more than 2 dozen languages. Walker was born on February 9, 1944 in Eatonton, Georgia. She was the youngest of 8 children, born to Minnie Lotalula Grant Walker, a maid, and Willie Lee Walker, a sharecropper. So, in 1952, when she was 8 years old, one of her older brothers accidentally shot her in her right eye. So, with a BB gun, the family didn't have a car and were unable to get to a doctor for a week after the incident, leaving her partially blind. Because they didn't get her immediate care, Walker became resentful of her father, leading to an estrangement that would last the rest of her life. Before the accident, Walker had been confident and outgoing. When scar tissue developed over her eye, however, she was teased and taunted by other children. So this made her self-conscious and withdrawn, and often suicidal. She then began writing poetry and stories, finding comfort and solace in the solitude it afforded her. According to Walker, the color purple is a manifestation of her desire to bring to the human consciousness the evils of division across gender and racial lines and hopefully liberate humans from these evils, and heavily influenced by Walker's own experience growing up in the rural South and her exposure to the struggles faced by African American women during that time. So the novel is a work of fiction. Also, Walker drew an inspiration from her own family history, the civil rights movement, and her interactions with strong African American women. She aimed to shed light on their experiences and bring attention to issues of racism, sexism, and abuse. In conclusion, the title, The Color Purple, holds immense significance in Alice Walker's novel. So it represents the suffering, transformation, and resilience of African American women in the face of systemic oppression. Color Purple by Alice Walker is deeply personal, an emotional novel that explores the struggles of African American women in the early 20th century. So the novel is set in the Deep South and follows the life of Sally Johnson, a young African American girl who is forced into the life of abuse and oppression by her father and later her husband. Sally's story is told through a series of letters that she writes to God, her sister Nettie, and her eventual lover, Shag Avery. Through these letters, we learn about Sally's journey of self discovery, resilience, and ultimately, love. Sally's storyline is filled with oppression, starting with a man who repeatedly rapes her and takes away her children. She is also emotionally abused by her husband, who calls her ugly and belittles her at every turn. The main reason why her husband married her was in the order someone will take good care of him, his house, and his children. He literally oppresses Sally in the story. He is physically and emotionally abusive, forcing her into a life of servitude and isolation. He takes away her freedom and self-worth. However, Sophia, Sally's sister-in-law, faces oppression for her defiance of societal norms. She refuses to accept her husband's abuse for herself, which leads to her being beaten and jailed. It was very obvious that there were oppressions happened towards women according to the evidences that I have been mentioned. Thus, we have to promote class consciousness and solidarity among the oppressed, including women, people of color, and the working class. This could involve organizing and advocating for policies that address the root causes of oppression and promote social justice, and enacting laws that protect women from violence and discrimination. In conclusion, the color purple symbolizes the oppression of women in various forms, representing their physical and emotional pain, social norms and expectations that limit their freedom and agency. It shows how women must find strength within themselves to overcome these oppressive forces, and how the color purple becomes a symbol of their resilience and determination to break free from the constraints of their oppressive past.